This week on the Radio Meets TV podcast. Have you ever wanted to get rid of old stuff, but you're like, oh man, I can't really get rid of it like that? Well, a radio show talks about how you can turn pre-loved items into a side hustle, whether it's a TV, clothes, whatever it is. I think that's pretty cool. We also look at how a radio legend reminisces with a radio icon, selfless behavior. That was such a special moment. I encourage you to check it out. While we're on the subject of special, you might want to watch the entire show this week, but we have a special announcement we'd like to make. It's really cool. As you can see, we've changed location and sometimes things have to change. Keyword change, in case you didn't get it. But make sure you subscribe, Finally Famous TV. Follow us on all social media platforms at Finally Famous SA and show us some love on every major streaming platform, whether it be Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio. Show us some love.
Isikhathi njengalesi siyafika sokuthi indoda ibuyele ekhaya. Nkomuze. Ngikhumbule kakhulu. Sengihleli phansi kwesihlahla lapha. Nayi ingqebu lana. Bazokunyamba lethi inyama yokosa. Yenkomo ehlatshiwe nkomose. Hayi le nyama esilapha eGoli vele amafriji nongazi ukuthi yahlathwa ziphi ipoki. Hayi. Singabuye sisathini ndoda. Ngiyakweseka khona Khabazela lesinqumo usithathile. Kodwa ke nami Khabazela khona ungangiphethe kahle. Kodwa ke hayi sobe sixoxe hayi manje.
You go close there.
Put up Emma, quit escape up. Most boats. I just
Hey, what's up, fam? Madam Njinga. And this is the 7th official episode of the Radio Meets TV podcast. Hashtag RMTPodcast for short. This is that radio recap show where we just take some of the best moments that happened in radio over the past week and we package them and present them to you, right? Whether you experience those moments live in your car, at home, wherever you might listen to the radio, or if you might be experiencing them for the first time right now, I'd be like, oh, wow, because, we understand you get busy and you may not always listen to the radio, and this is that show that keeps you up to date on what happens in the world of radio. Now, before we get started, I have to announce that this is a unique episode, a special episode, and I would like for you to stay until the very end of the episode before we tell you something that we think is of importance to you. So it's a show. We'll get you stay through till the end, the very end, right? So, kicking off the show, always wondered, what is the difference between the universe and God? Because you always hear about thank you to the universe and its abundance, and people say, thank you, God, So, what's the difference between the two kind of thing? I feel like that's a question only a life coach or a spiritual healer could answer. But what's the difference between that? What is a life coach? What is a spiritual healer? Well, fortunately, Capricorn FM has got you covered. Check it out.
He introduced you as a life coach and also a spiritual teacher. What is the difference between these two?
Okay, a regular person would say there's a difference. And that's okay for them to believe that. But for me, I cannot teach you about life if I don't teach you about spirituality. For me, they go hand in hand, because I'm a spiritual person through and through. So for me, spirituality is life. And if I'm going to coach you on something called life, I cannot leave spirituality out of it. And I'm not talking about religion. People think that religion and spirituality are the same thing, and they're not. In religion you can have spirituality, but in spirituality there is no religion, because spirituality is a freedom. You can express yourself, you can spread your wings, whereas I feel that religion boxes people in, and there's certain rules that you have to go by. So for me, life and life coaching and spirituality for me is one. It goes hand in hand. It cannot be separated.
Okay, so I hear the life coach, I hear the spiritual healer. He's obviously well trained in his industry. He knows exactly what he's talking about. And Njinga is an impigis. I just feel as though spirituality and religion are different means to the same end. Because in spirituality, you represent the light. Yabo, no killing, you avoid the darkness, you want to be positive and represent the light. And same thing with religion, love thy neighbor as you love yourself. So I think Uguti ultimately, both spirituality and religion are looking to achieve the same thing. So I don't think there's much of a difference. But well done to Capricorn Drive with Uti Nkomo every single weekday, 6 a.m. till 9 a.m. for bringing such a guy to come through and talk about something that I think we all need in this day and age. Whether it be religion or spirituality, we all need something that brings us a little bit closer to the source or God or the universe, however you want to put it. All right, so have you ever noticed how when you wake up, you're just like, some people are not morning people. I'm not a morning person. You're just like, what's happening today? You're just trying to figure out what's going to happen today. Well, fortunately, Darren Moore of East Coast Breakfast and Sky Shabalala, they got you covered with their new talents, Common Ready, as they tell us about 5 things that you need to know every single morning, including this morning. Check it out.
Here's your first story. Eskom has announced, you might have noticed this yourself firsthand, stages 4 and 6 load shedding until further notice. This is due to loss of additional generating units overnight. In other words, it can be interpreted many ways. My interpretation is we haven't had much load shedding because, we're building up towards an election year, and now stuff is falling apart again. Yes, close enough?
Representations made by DJ Mampurisa, whose real name is Temba Sunnyboy Sekoe, in his bid to have an assault case against him have been declined.
Huh. I thought those charges
Yeah,
were
I'm
dropped
also
by two.
rather confused because
very.
there were
That's right.
articles saying that Tuli is accused of assaulting his former girlfriend or former partner, Tuli Pongolo, who's a DJ. And as far as we'd seen, she dropped the charges, and now we're saying that actually there are still assault charges against him.
Yeah, that's why we're listening to Mni, who have never listened to the song.
Yeah.
100%.
So Darren, you mentioned this earlier. So the Springboks playing the All Blacks this coming Saturday, and there could be a bit of a late change in the team. So even Internet, he's back from injury. He was meant to captain the Springboks, but his father Harry passed on Tuesday night, and now there's massive doubts if he's going to play or not. And obviously condolences go out to the Etzebeth family. Obviously they've relocated to KZN now, they play for the Sharks, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I thought so with the Etzebeth family.
Yeah.
Well, acting public prosecutor advocate Koleka Koleka is on the list of candidates who've accepted nominations for the position to replace the former suspended public protector Pusisiwe Mkhwebane. She's been in an acting position ever since the president suspended Mkhwebane, so we'll see if she'll get it. There's 53, I think, people on the list, so there's a lot of people to beat out, but she's been acting in the position ever since.
Okay.
Nice to see a woman.
Yeah, and here's your first story. A South African comedian, Trevor Noah, received what will be his final Emmy nomination for The Daily Show. There's a good chance that he'll probably win that as well. Nice to finish on the top there. Well done, Trevor Noah. So there you go. Those are your 5 things. You'll find them online on ecr.co.za.
All right, that is East Coast Breakfast every single weekday from 6 a.m. till 9 a.m. Darren Moore, Sky Shabalala, and their brand new addition to the team, Common Ready. Are you ready? Yeah! I really like how they've got excellent chemistry, even though Common Ready is literally just joining the team. Kodwa, you can see, Uguti, there's a lot of potential for growth with their chemistry, the 3 of them, So I expect the East Coast Breakfast show to grow even bigger than it's ever been, right? That's really cool, man. All right, so moving on, one of radio's, I think he's actually one of the prank kings of all time when it comes to radio, right? Darren Wackhead Simpson. I mean, this guy has some of the most iconic pranks on air ever. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, couldn't know Felix Shope, so that's why I said one of the prank kings of South African radio. So Darren Wackhead Simpson is still in the game, and he joins KFM talking about certain things that are important when having your wedding in South Africa.
Yeah. As I say, the 2 things you need for a wedding. You want to have a party. Good food, great DJ.
Don't compromise.
If you don't have those 2, terrible. It won't happen. All right, we got some messages here on the WhatsApp telephone.
My wedding, me and my wife decided get a venue, go buy the meat ourselves, make a couple of salads, get some uncles, give them 2 bottles of brandy or whiskey, and let them braai the meat. And everyone had a blast. Everyone went for seconds for the food.
Darren, I agree with you. Anything can be wedding food when you play Kenny G in the background while
And this conversation is exactly why I refuse to have a wedding. I will keep my money, thank you, and go to Bali.
Yeah, that's
Not
also
a
a
bad
good idea.
idea. There are those people too, those couples who are like, listen, we're eloping, okay? We are spending our money on ourselves.
Because also, what did you say the other day? You see a handful of the people who were invited to your very big, very expensive wedding.
Yeah, you don't see any, maybe 5 of them you'll ever see in your life again. That will be the last time you will see them at your wedding.
So you're spending your hard-earned cash on future strangers. No, thank you.
Yeah. What for?
Exactly.
Like that guy says, all you need is some Kenny G.
Kenny G makes any food seem regal.
Some uncles to braai and you have a jewel.
Are all weddings the same? Are all families the same, actually? I think they are.
KFM 94.5.
You know, as we know, in South Africa, we've got a lot of different cultures and creeds. Yabona. So for Abat Magiti, black people, instead of a Kenny G, you know, you throw in a mafigizo, leputi, naba no auntie. Yabona nali akele spetis kies a cold room. Yabona fe to be Louis five with uncle Ashi with Yabona now when you uncle my friend was a so she's in Congo now you have a wedding, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, as I said, we've got different cultures and creeds, so traditional weddings go differently for all of us. They all have that element of South Africanism. But yeah, that was such a fun conversation between Darren Wackhead Simpson, Sherlin, and Sibs from the KFM Mornings team, the KFM Breakfast Show. And you can catch them every single weekday from 6 a.m. till 9 a.m. All right, moving on. So Radio 2000's King David Mashabela brings in one of South Africa's icons in the media space, right? I mean, this woman just doesn't age. She's been a media personality even since before some of us were born. And like, she doesn't age. It creeps me out, but in a nice way. It's like a nice creep out. But I'm talking about right? And here she just talks about remembering actually the first time she walked into SABC studios back in 1983. Have a look.
And now, you're walking into this building. Does it bring back special memories and feelings?
I remembered the first day.
What?
The first day, 1983, when I walked in to go to Mr. Khaile's office, who was head of HR then, you know, to see whether I got the job or not.
Yes, eh?
Yo.
So that memory is still clear in your mind.
Memory, and I left this building crying because I thought I don't have a job at all.
What?
I mean, it was my first interview.
Yes.
I was coming in for the interview, and when Mr. Khaile asked me, I mean, there are lots of typists in Soweto, in Johannesburg. Why must I go and get a typist from the Bundus, from the Transkei? And I'm like, you've never had anyone
from there.
You have never had Nokolo.
That's what it was, eh?
That was Nokolo Jebese.
Yes.
You've never had Nokolo Jebese on your typing pool. Why don't you try me?
This is your chance.
This is your chance. Yo, tough one.
We all have memories of Ngintanda Nonke Makhaya, you know, like her famous sign-off line, boom, from the time we were in primary school, from high school, some of them know that famous sign-off line, Ngintanda Nonke Makhaya, you know, and she still doesn't age. Like, when's But yeah, big ups to King David Mashabela, Radio 2000. Every single weekday, 12 to 3. Really awesome show, man. Every single day, he brings the heat. All right, so if you didn't know, this past week was the Dundee July. I've actually attended a Dundee July myself, and it's one of the fastest growing events in KZN. It's really, really cool, actually. I've personally enjoyed myself last time I was there. And when I was there, I met one of South Africa's he is South Africa's youngest station manager, Ikamalaku Jonathan Griffiths, and he manages Talana FM, Dundee's one and only radio station, I believe. So here's a quick chat between Felix Tope and Mr. Magic Kulinda Sbiya on Talana Drive with Ubongega.
So I'm going on and on about the wonderful opportunity owangipha ithalente lami walibona ngakangiboni inkunda yakho udumo lwakho ukuthi ngithethe emhlane kwena kwakhula wangiphakamisa namuhla umndeni wami wonkana uncela kimina ngiyinkomo yobisi ekhaya ngenxa yethuba lengayivele wangipha lona nebelief wangipha yona nethuba nje lokwazi ukubukela kuwena ngifunde okuningi namhlanje ke ngifunde kunjalabuzo namuhla bakwazi ukungithinta ngenxa yokuthi ngafunda ukubhukuda ngifundiswa umnikazi wayo idatha.
Ngiyabonga ngisurprise ngiyabonga mabranda nokuthi ekubalulekile ukuthi isandla futhi siluleke abanye abantu ungabi namona uma ubona italente umuntu bebuka into enhle kumuntu bese ukholelwa kumuntu bengakholelwa abantu ngoba usukubona ukuthi isithombo maye imvula ifika yini ezokwenza sokukhula isithombo. So nami kuyangijabulisa ukubona abantu abaningi engithi mangibukela ngibona ukuthi hey uyazi la mase ngichelela ngaqhamuka into ebese nangampela impande vele ngene phansi. Abathi ngiyabonga kakhulu nalokuthi okubalulekile ngiyacela abantu ukuthi uKansas City nami ngani kwithuba uKansas and then khona into yasho uKansas kumina mfo wathi umuntu onekhono ungalingi ulivale ithuba lakhe ngoba uNkulunkulu nedlozi lakhe basuke bebona bebuka ingilosi yomuntu iyabona. So abantu abaningi thola ukuthi uma esephumelele yena akafuna ukunikeza abanye abantu kodwa ngithanda ngithi ekugcineni uma ubona ikhono umuntu enza iprank umuntu enza ihlaya umuntu efaka ugqozi loyo muntu uyathika ngempela ukuthi umnikeze ithuba but usuka umnikeze ithuba usuke umnikeze ukhiye esicabheni esikhiwe umnikeze ukhiye wona bese ufaka ebese vula ngempela bese ngena ngaphakathi mase ngene ngaphakathi ebese uyasuka wena bese esho ukuthi hey ngangena ngaphakathi ngaklina kanje into engayibonayo ngabona ukuthi ithuba uyadinga and ngoba umsakazo ukhozi ngendlela omkhulu ngayo and umuntu umnikeza ithuba in your show abantu abaningi baye bathi ayi mase uthola impumelelo obavalela abanye kodwa mina ayibaningi ngicabanga ukuthi uNkulunkulu mangibabheka ngithi ayi ngiyabonga noma ngilalele ngikwi-province yaKwaZulu-Natal ngithi oh lashaya leli qhawe madoda le link yayinhle le back announcing yayinhle le interview nomhlonishwa yimeya kade menza ngijabule so ngiyabonga ukuthi ukhiya wawuthatha usebenzi ngiyacela ukuthi ke nawe mfo ungalinge ungawuthathi ukhiya banikeze nabanye bavule ngoba you are living a legacy sithi ke must motivated to run your race that is set before you ugijima ibanga lakho kodwa banikeze nabanye bagijima ibanga labo my brother.
Man, what a wholesome conversation between Mr. Magic Kulinda Sbiya and Felix Tope. Yazi, that conversation it just makes me appreciate Mr. Magic that much more. But he didn't have to put anyone on. At the height of his career, Mr. Magic Kulinda Sbiya, he didn't have to put anybody on. And it's crazy how person he put on went on to be Felix Tope. Know what I'm saying? It actually reminds me of a conversation I had with a friend where he was just telling me about how Oskido had a hand in putting black coffee on. You know what I'm saying? Black coffee. Now imagine being the guy trying to block someone else's blessings. Ngoba na we chose to blind ngalesos cards, you know? You know what I'm saying? Now it's like you're that guy. You know what I'm saying? Nah, dog. I feel that if you can put people on, just like how Mr. Magic put Felix Tope on. That was a dope conversation. I really like how Talana FM put that together. And shout out to Ubongega Ngobese from the Talana Drive Time Show, weekdays 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. for just hosting them, Vetu, and bringing them together for those thank yous and that warm moments. I'm going to watch it again. I don't know about you. All right, so moving on. Have you ever bought a piece of clothing that you thought was cool at the time, and then you look at it and you're like, nah. Well, the Way Up Breakfast Show hosts an entrepreneur who takes moments like that, turns them into profit.
That I had on Instagram. So you can do it anyway, as long as you have social media, really. Yes. All you do is you take good pictures of that item, make sure it's good quality as well. Quality in terms of you're not just selling stuff that you wouldn't even wear yourself anymore. And then you post it online. But for me, I think it started there with Yaga. They approached me for a campaign, and that's where I saw an opportunity to go, okay, let me clear out my closet. I'm sure I can make a few thousands and buy something that I would actually wear now that is actually more recent and actually fits me. So that's where I normally sell my pre-loved items.
You know, that's such a doable side hustle. You know, you and I can get into pre-loved sales, Yabona. And the cool thing is that it doesn't only have to be pre-loved clothing. Obviously, for a lot of people, it could be clothing, you know. But it could be pre-loved home appliances, pre-loved home theater system, pre-loved TV. It could be anything, Yabona, and any one of us can do it if you have a cell phone, internet, and the item itself, you know? So I think big ups to the Way Up Breakfast Show, YFM, Nia Brown, Umtono, okay, Wasabi, for bringing abantu abazosivula umqondo, Yabona, because we all need the man, only man I want. And there's more than one way of making money, and this is definitely an effective way to do so. I really enjoyed that. All right, so moving on. One of the hottest radio broadcasters in the country, in my opinion anyway. This guy's just way too nice with it, fam. DJ SABC. He hosts the Metro FM breakfast show, The Best Mornings, with Candace Kardashian. And he has a chat with Wezinsizwa, and Wezinsizwa shot me in this clip over here, and Bob, he said something I really didn't expect from him. Check it out.
I get stage fright, like, stop looking at me. Is it rolling? Are we rolling?
Yeah, we are.
Batum. In life, start somewhere. Whether it's raining or it's sunny or it's shining, just start. Where you going? Uzobona phambili. The whole important thing here is just starting. I just started when I was around about 15, 16, recording myself, and I don't know where I was going, but I just knew that I had a plan. But how and where? And here I am today, standing in front of this mic and telling you the very same advice I took 16 years ago. Ooh, 16 years, I sound like I'm 35. When I was 16, yes, I took that advice. And I started. Just start. The whole important thing here is just starting. Just start. If you don't know how, just start. Utlabonako pili, phambili. You'll see. I'm Wezinsizwa, and that's my best advice. Sana, this has been the most. Actually, this sounds like this has been my perfect motivation.
And that's DJ SABC. Oh, man, that guy's just way too smooth with it, man. And his co-host, Candace Kardashian, on the Best Mornings breakfast show on Metro FM, weekdays 6 a.m. till 9 a.m. And big ups to Wezinsizwa. Yazi, I really enjoyed what Wezinsizwa said. It doesn't matter if you have a plan, just start. If it's bothering you, oh man, I need to get this stuff. Just start, whatever it is, fam. You look at someone like Mac G, you know, he literally just started. If you go to his first episode, you can tell this guy just started, and now he's on 1 million subscribers on YouTube. You look at us, we just started, you know? I remember I got a call, Njinga, here's the idea, this is it. I was like, brah, count me in. We just started. And we're on episode 7. Right? It's crazy. Which reminds me, at the beginning of the show, I did say we have an announcement to share, right? And that announcement is that I won't be the host of this show any longer, right? However, you will expect to see different faces for the rest of the season, different levels of excitement for the rest of the season. However, expect the same radio meets TV podcast content that you love so much. Consistency is key, Mama, and nothing is going to change in that regard, right? However, it's not the last time you see my face on this channel, Finally Famous TV. Which reminds me, subscribe if you haven't already done so. I'm going to say it again, Finally Famous TV. Show some love, tell someone else to subscribe, do the right thing. And make sure you follow us on all social media, Finally Famous SA, ne? And sikhona futhi na wonke ama streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, all of these major streaming platforms sikhona. You can listen, you can show some love nakhona fethu. The key word here is love.
Zinsizwa ungapheli kuyahlola. Sikhona isikhathi sokuhlangana. Khona futhi isikhathi sokuhlukana. Kukhona isikhathi sokuhleka. Kukhona isikhathi sokukhala.
Manje baba Makiza nifuna kuyazi ukuthi mawusibizile wasihlanganisa lapha phakathi manje lesi isikhathi sekuyenza karani isikhathi sekuhleka wathi or isikhathi sekuhlangana nekuhlukana or isikhathi sekukhala nemama yo wathi yo mama yo
Chasma ngithathe isinqumo sokuthi ngibuyele ekhaya konomphela